My name is Lucy Stein and I'm a painter based in St Just in West Cornwall, and this show is titled Wet Room and it's taking place at Spike Island in Bristol. My painting project has always involved trying to dismantle and give back the idea of what it means to be a female painter in relation to the history of painting, or Western painting, I should say. Everything comes out from that, but it's always very much in relation with literature and theory, especially around the subjects of feminism, that as an ever-changing discourse, and psychoanalysis. The last 6 years I've been living in West Cornwall and have been utterly devoured by the esoteric culture that exists there. And particularly intriguing to me have been these Neolithic chambers, which are known as fougou. It can be a very powerful experience entering a fougou, and particularly going through the creep passage, which makes you quite vulnerable. You're crawling on your hands and knees, and then you're in this space that you'd imagine would feel very claustrophobic, but actually feels very enchanted, very peaceful, and very comforting. I wanted to reference that, or to utilise it as a metaphor for this exhibition. So I was also pregnant when I made this installation, so I was thinking about the womb as a space of becoming. Simultaneously, I was thinking about the tourist industry. You have this paradox in Cornwall of having a landscape that feels very enchanted, and houses that are clad in this very homogeneous and kind of wipe clean, antiseptic fashion. The other places that I find really enchanted in Penwith are the holy wells. I find that there is something so comforting being around running water, especially natural springs. There's something so healing about the noise and the sense of flow, and it allows the energy in a place to move freely. The ancient Egyptian symbol of the eye of Horus is a symbol of protection that comes up again and again in West Country folklore. It is very important to the so-called cunning folk of the West Country. There is a deeply held belief that these systems of folk magic and occult knowledge come down directly from ancient Egypt. I've included the scrying mirror as the bathroom mirror on the wet room wall as a direct reference to the process of scrying, which is both a well-known methodology in various types of schools of occultism, but for me it also is about how I taught myself to paint well. And I think the relation between occult practices and methodologies and painting of the type that I care about is really important. I've been using a new process within my painting language over the past 2 years, which is to draw very quickly on sheets of acetate and then project them and create collages of acetate and then project them onto the painting and build it up in that way. And this relates to performances that I used to do in the past with a band called Death Shanties. Marlene Dumas was my tutor at the ateliers in Amsterdam, and she has been quite an influence on me over the course of my career. And what I value highly in her work is her ability to make beautiful, powerful paintings of ugly things. And the idea of painting being a frog that you have to kiss to see whether it works or whether you can activate it or not, and you have to love it in order to see whether it can exist and be. This shell in Jung and PZ comes directly from an Eileen Agar painting, so I like to kind of almost treat the paintings that I love by other people almost like beachcombing. The Corn Goddess Goes Back on Instagram is a more light-hearted painting that I made in 2021. It's sort of a joke. The woman is green with jealous rage, and there's a puppet that she's cursing, which is also green, and it's a commentary on Instagram as a space for cursing and ill-wishing. And I believe that painting is a viable platform for exploring the relationship between individualism and personhood, and how these really important concepts intersect, and how you can take them apart and move forward, especially in the various crises that we find ourselves in at the moment. I have a touching belief in the power of painting.